Oh no, origins explained, and that means we're going to have to listen to Katrina explaining some wrong stuff. Okay, I don't hate Katrina at all. I just don't like the fact that she's just reading from a crazy script. Okay, this video is from 2019, so I guess it will probably be a little bit different from other origins explained videos, but let's see. Enjoy.
Hi, it's Katrina. You've already heard a lot about the megalodon, but there were plenty of other sharks in the sea. From tiny sharks with seriously bizarre fins to those that had no problem eating things much larger than themselves, here are 9 of the strangest and most mysterious prehistoric sharks. One of them is still around.
It isn't the shark shown here, definitely. This shark is an outdated model of the Helicoprion, so no. I guess this channel is trying to make people think, so I guess that's not horrible.
Can you guess what it is? Let me know in the comments below.
Back then when Origins Explained had an intro, their videos probably weren't as terrible as today's, or just the recent ones, especially in the paleo scene. It's kind of like Bright Side, to be fair.
Number 9. Stethacanthus.
This is a little bit problematic because even though the Stethacanthus is a cartilaginous fish, it is not a shark. It is just shark-like.
Stethacanthus is an extinct genus of shark-like cartilaginous fish that died out roughly 323 million years ago.
It died out at around 298.9 million years ago during the end of the Carboniferous.
Fossils have been discovered in Asia, Europe, and North America. While it kind of looked like a modern shark, a little bit. Mature males possessed a distinctive dorsal fin that was shaped like an anvil or an ironing board. The top of this bizarre fin was covered in rough scales, similar to those found on part of the animal's snout.
This is called a spine brush complex. Females might not have had them, but it's still unclear.
On average, Stethacanthus wasn't that big, just over 2 feet long.
That is literally the smallest estimate that you could go without just being bad.
There are several theories that explain the possible purpose of this strange fin. It may have been used in mating rituals since it seems to have only been found on males, or perhaps it was there to scare predators since it could in some way look like a mouth and make it look bigger. Maybe it used it to hunt in some way?
With how the spine brush complex is shaped, I don't think it's supposed to hunt, but I could be very wrong here.
What do you think is the most likely explanation? Let me know in the comments. Stethacanthus was most likely an okay swimmer, but not super fast, and dwelled primarily in shallow coastal waters, feeding on fish, crustaceans, and cephalopods. Fossil evidence indicates that these creatures may have been migratory, returning to specific places to mate and give birth, like many sharks do today. Number 8. Xenacanthus.
It's a little bit more closely related to sharks than the Stethacanthus, since the Xenacanthus belonged in the Elasmobranchi subclass. Well, if I pronounce that wrong, Elasmobranchi or Elasmobranchi. That is where Xenacanthus and sharks diverge, though.
The extinct Xenacanthus genus of prehistoric sharks lived from the late Devonian period, around 360 million years ago, until the end of the Triassic period, around 208 million years ago.
Now, this can be considered a ridiculous statement, because the Xenacanthus lived only to the end of the Permian. It did not get to live in the Triassic. How unfortunate.
Fossils of these sharks have been found throughout the world. The slim shark measured around 3 feet long, but was different from modern sharks in several ways. For one, it was a freshwater fish, and even though freshwater sharks existed for a very long time, their genus is now extinct.
This is a little bit confusing, but I guess what they meant is that Xenacanthus has went extinct. Freshwater sharks. Xenacanthus was one freshwater shark. There we go.
It had a ribbon-like dorsal fin that ran along the back and around its triangular pointed tail, similar to the modern conger eel. Xenacanthus therefore probably swam kind of like an eel. The fish had a distinctive sharp movable spine that projected from the back of its skull that may have been venomous and used like that of a modern-day stingray.
It probably used it to deter predators more than to paralyze its prey.
Rays and sharks are closely related, so this theory is plausible. Xenacanthus has also had unusual V-shaped teeth known as double-cusped teeth, which were pretty strange but may have developed due to the kind of prey it ate. And now for number 7, but first I wanted to say a quick thank you to some of our amazing subscribers for their super nice comments. If you are new here, be sure to subscribe before you leave. We have lots of exciting videos coming up. Number 7. The Helicoprion.
This is a cartilaginous fish, Eugenodont. It's holocephali, subclass. It doesn't belong in the subclass the true sharks, but it resided in. I haven't fully recovered yet from my sickness.
The Helicoprion, or buzzsaw shark, is an extinct genus that lived around 270 million years ago during the late Permian period. This 6-meter-long prehistoric fish possessed a distinctive whorl-shaped jaw. In fact, the name Helicoprion means spiral jaw.
Even in 2017, there are already DeviantArts consisting of Helicoprion with a more up-to-date model. Just check DeviantArt and you'll see models that look more like 2017, that look like today.
However, it took a long time for scientists to figure out where the whorl was supposed to go, and there were some pretty creative guesses. It wasn't until 2013 that a team of scientists from the Department of Geosciences at Idaho State University, along with artist Ray Troll, conclusively determined how Helicoprion's jaw functioned, or even where it was located on the animal's body. Until then, one theory posited that the whorl sat somewhere along the shark's back,
which, in terms of current paleontology standards, is just completely outdated information.
Another hypothesis was that it was located in the shark's mouth in either the upper or lower jaw. Regardless, scientists long believed that the whorl had some sort of defensive purpose. Eventually, they began to suspect that the whorl was used for feeding in some way, but they weren't sure how. After a century of trying to figure out these mysteries, CT scans and the computer-generated 3D model of the animal's mouth provided experts with long-awaited clarity. The circular set of teeth was a sort of rotating tooth factory, located inside the Helicoprion's lower jaw that would shred its meal.
The which one is real thingy kind of reminds me of Bright riddles that I used to watch quite often. So I guess that's a bit of a nostalgia factor. I mean, Brightside is not a great channel. It's not a horrible channel, but Brightside, like Origins Explained, shouldn't really touch the paleo scene.
The whorl began where the upper and lower jaws met and rotated towards the front of the jaw, boasting around 150 teeth, and sometimes measuring more than 50 centimeters long. While the structure of Helicoprion's teeth more closely resembled that of a shark, the species was actually a chimera, or ratfish, a group of cartilaginous fish that branched off from sharks around 400 million years ago. So in reality, it's actually a shark-like fish rather than a shark.
I mean, whatever, you're just putting it in a video that is supposed to be not very truthful.
But its distinctive teeth have earned Helicoprion a well-deserved place in history. Number 6. Aestus.
It is more closely related to a Helicoprion than an actual shark. It's still a cartilaginous fish, but that's pretty much it.
Also known as the scissor-tooth shark, Aestus is a genus of prehistoric shark that, like most others on today's list, is known primarily through fossils of its teeth. The rest of the shark is long gone. It lived around 300 million years ago from the late Devonian to the late Carboniferous period.
I don't think late Devonian occurred 300 million years ago. It lived 313 to 307 million years ago. The late Devonian, the end of Devonian, is around 358.9 million years ago. So why did you say Devonian?
The name Aestus means to devour. It was given to the genus in 1855 by American paleontologist Joseph Leidy. This 6.1 meter, 2-ton ancient predator had a mouth shaped like a pair of pinking shears, or scissors with serrated edges. Because the only part of the shark scientists have found evidence of through fossils is its teeth, they're unsure what or how it ate. In fact, researchers won't know much about how Aestus lived or died until, or unless, they find a skull. One of the few known facts about this genus is that it possessed a single row of teeth and therefore didn't shed them, unlike most sharks throughout history. It continued growing new teeth, pushing the old ones forward and causing them to protrude from its mouth.
I guess this is fine. I mean, I can't really think of any corrections.
The size and degree of curvature in the teeth brackets varied among species. Aestus may have incapacitated its prey by using its strange teeth to slash it vertically. Number 5. Acanthodii.
It's an entire family of jawed fishes, which is also different from sharks. It is currently considered to represent a paraphyletic grade of various fish lineages basal to extant chondrichthyes.
Better known as the spiny shark, Acanthodians, which are also called Acanthodii, were a type of transitional, small extinct fish between sharks and bony fish. It was one of the earliest known jawed vertebrates and existed from roughly 438 million years ago during the Silurian period until about 248 million years ago during the early Permian.
248 million years ago is the early Triassic. Have you tried to even correct whatever script you're given?
Like modern sharks, the spiny shark skeleton was made of cartilage. However, like modern-day ray-finned fish, its fins were supported by bony spines. Also, unlike modern sharks, its skin was covered in scale-like tiny rhomboid platelets, which were distinctly patterned. Acanthodii was not very large, measuring only up to 30 centimeters long.
Acanthodis Confucius might want to have a word with you.
However, during its time, it was the largest filter feeder alive. Now, of course, it is the blue whale. That's quite the size difference. Number 4. Cladosilaki. Considered the first true shark, Cladosilaki, also called the scaleless shark, lived around 380 million years ago in the oceans around what would become North America.
It wasn't really a true shark. Every one on the list so far is just a cartilaginous fish. This one still belongs in the Holocephali subclass, which had Helicoprion in it.
Well-preserved fossils of Cladosilaki that were found in Cleveland Shale on Lake Erie's South Shore taught researchers a lot about the extinct genus. Contained within the fossils were traces of skin, muscle fibers, and internal organs. This 1.8-meter-long primitive shark most closely resembled today's mackerel shark.
It was not closely related. It was only similar in body structure.
It had some traits of its ancestors, possessing a fish-like head and 7 gills rather than 5 like most modern sharks. Cladosilaki's body was also less muscular and longer than most present-day shark species. It had no scales on most of its body, hence its name, and also lacked dental armor. The only scales Cladosilaki had were on the tips of its fins, mouth, and around its eyes. These characteristics, along with its deeply forked tail, made this a sleek and agile, fast swimmer.
It does make sense since fewer scales would allow for more flexibility,
enabling it to evade the dominant sea predator of the time, a massive armored fish called Dunkleosteus.
You just spelled Dunkleosteus wrong. At least that mistake wasn't as terrible as that one video where a guy calls Dunkleosteus Dunkeltosaurus.
Number 3. Taotus.
Finally, we got an actual shark.
Between 185 million years ago, the Taotus genus of extinct shell-crushing sharks consisted of many species who roamed waterways throughout the globe. Since the first remains were discovered in England in the late 19th century, many other fossils have been found all over the world, including the United States, Mexico, Brazil, Canada, the Czech Republic, Germany, France, Japan, India, Jordan, and Sweden. 22 species have been identified so far.
There's a lot of species, so there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. There's 23. So add 1 extra more, and we're good.
Taotus was equipped with powerful jaws containing up to 550 teeth, which were flattened and very large. The upper jaw consisted of 260 teeth, and the lower jaw had 220. The largest tooth plate may have measured 55 centimeters long and 45 centimeters wide. This was a large shark, measuring up to 11 meters long, and its massive and well-equipped mouth was perfect for helping it consume ample amounts of crustaceans.
The subadult specimen had a length of around 4.3 to 7.07 meters, so a 10-meter length, even 11 meters could have been possible. However, it's still not confirmed.
Its primary food of choice. In fact, Taotus was possibly the largest shellfish-eating animal to ever live. Number 2. Cretosirena.
It kind of reminds me how I used to pronounce this one. Cretocirina, which is just, I'm embarrassed about that. It's supposed to be called the Cretoxyrhina.
Nicknamed the Jinsu Shark, this is an extinct genus of large mackerel shark. It lived among marine dinosaurs between 100 and 75 million years ago during the late Cretaceous period.
Gosh, I want to have a headache because not only I'm sick, but this channel just said marine dinosaurs.
Despite sharing the world's oceans with prehistoric creatures and dinosaurs, it was an ultimate predator, preying on animals such as plesiosaurs.
Why did you just add I and O over here between the R and S for literally no reason other than trying to sound cool? It just doesn't make any sense.
And even Archelon, the largest turtle ever. The Jinsu shark also ate the giant bony fish and fierce predator Stethacanthus. Did I mention that all these animals were larger than the Jinsu shark?
I'm sorry, but who told you that? Who told you that these creatures were larger than the Cretoxyrhina?
At the time, this shark was the largest alive, growing up to 7 meters long, bigger than the great white, but it was still smaller than most, if not all, the animals it targeted as prey. This prehistoric monster—
Yeah, old Origins Explained still wasn't free from calling these animals monsters. Well, I guess it should have been expected because it's Origins Explained we're talking about, and it's 2019 we're talking about, so yeah.
It had 490 razor-sharp bone-shearing teeth that grew up to 7 centimeters long, which it used to rip apart its prey. To keep them sharp, the teeth were coated in an extra thick layer of enamel. By the way, if you're wondering, yes, the Jinsu shark was named after the famous large, sharp kitchen knife used for slicing and dicing, which is thought to resemble the animal's feeding mechanism.
It's kinda like how Sarcosuchus was called Super Croc, Cretoxyrhina is called the Jinsu Shark in the mainstream, but unlike the Sarcosuchus, which is not a croc, Cretoxyrhina is a shark.
As vicious as it was, this shark was not immune to being preyed upon and had to watch out for the giant mosasaur Tylosaurus.
Their relationship is kind of more akin to that of a competition than actual predation.
Its remains were also scavenged by the smaller squally corax shark. Like most ancient sharks, because it was made mostly of cartilage, the Jinsu shark did not fossilize well. Most of what experts know about it comes from fossils of the animal's teeth, which seem to have been its most interesting, or at least intimidating feature anyway. Number 1. Bonus, the Greenland shark.
Okay, so Origins Explained weren't wrong. Weren't lying when they said that one of the sharks in the list is still alive, still around today. This is the Greenland shark, and this is alive today.
The Greenland shark, known scientifically as S. microcephalus, is an ancient shark that still exists. A member of the sleeper shark family, it is estimated that this shark has been around for 110 million years.
The Somniosus genus only started to appear in the early Oligocene, not 110 million years ago, which is well into the early Cretaceous.
Scientists have long suspected that the Greenland shark has an enormously long lifespan of at least 200 years. In fact, the Greenland shark is believed to be the modern world's longest living vertebrate. In recent years, researchers collected 28 of these sharks and learned through radiocarbon dating of the species' eye lenses that one female was about 392 years, plus or minus 120 years, so at least 272 years old. It is believed they can live to be about 500 years old.
Which makes the Greenland shark have the longest known lifespan of all vertebrate species.
That means that some Greenland sharks could have easily been alive when the Declaration of Independence was signed. Everyone was pretty shocked at how long they can live. Researchers are still struggling to learn more about the animal due to its elusive nature and remote habitat deep in the cold North Atlantic.
With extreme conditions, many animals would evolve to try and adapt to these extreme conditions, so I guess the Greenland shark is cool.
They're even still trying to figure out exactly how long it lives and what enables it to live so long. One theory is that the Greenland shark ages incredibly slowly, less than half a centimeter per year, enabling it to outlive all other vertebrates. Greenland shark meat is a delicacy that is eaten in Iceland. Their meat is actually extremely toxic due to high levels of trimethylamine oxide, which can cause symptoms that mimic severe inebriation.
High amounts of these concentrations are associated with an increased risk of all-cause mortality and cardiovascular disease.
However, as long as it is prepared and fermented properly, it removes the neurotoxins. Would you try eating some shark? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching. Be sure to subscribe if you haven't already, and let me know your favorite shark in the comments below. See you soon. Bye!
For an Origins Explained video, this isn't god-awful, but there are quite a few ridiculous statements here and there, so I can say that this video is bad. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed. See you all next time.